Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Well, it's true, the Cartier Santos de Cartier may be Cartier's best dress watch. Truer to the original size and proportions is this Cartier Santos-Dumont, a model launched in 2020 that is a tribute to Cartier's original pilot's watch created by Louis Cartier for Alberto Santos-Dumont, the dirigible aviator from Brazil, back in 1904, making this one of the original wristwatches, original sports watches, and original pilot's watches all in one. Now, the Santos-Dumont XL, which we have right here, is larger but not large by traditional Santos standards. In stainless steel, it is 33.9 millimeters wide, not including the crown, 7.7 millimeters thick. From lug to lug, it is 46.7 millimeters, and it has a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw the watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference, and you can see it wears beautifully. This is suitable for men or women based on the sizing. It's also wonderfully slim with a sloped bezel, so it'll slide easily underneath the dress cuff. The ends of the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist, so I can envision this watch wearing well on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. You can even see that the lugs curve down at their edges, wrapping around the edge of a smaller wrist. The strap is proprietary, and I'll show you why in a moment. Cartier wanted a seamless continuity between the end of the strap, the lugs, and the case. They didn't want a gap, they didn't want daylight showing. So what they did was they integrated a metal end piece underneath, and you could see that underneath. Now, the watch will take a standard 19 millimeter strap, but if you want total integration, you're going to need to get the Cartier factory strap, which has this little metal stabilizer and mating surface on the bottom. The strap has pull-tab spring bars, so you can remove it and swap to a different strap without the need for tools. You can see this is a brand new Cartier strap, calfskin on the bottom, large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top. It's actually medium and large rectangular scale. It's blue, it has a monotone stitch, it's semi-gloss with a folded edge, and the watch has a traditionally styled stainless steel Cartier pin buckle. The case is handsome and surprisingly nuanced. A lot of that nuance is in the delicacy of the beveling that runs along the flanks of the lugs, and then the slight downward curvature of the lug tips, which come to a nice satisfying point. You'll also appreciate that the bevel wraps all the way down around the squared off facing of the ends of the lugs. We have a lovely vintage-inspired crown, beaded with a sapphire cabochon. It's a synthetic sapphire cabochon, to be sure. Here we have the return of the dormant bezel screws that were absent on several generations of modern Cartier Santos models. You can see that the bezel is polished. The case is primarily of satin with a few polished highlights. And then the bezel does have a curvature to it. You can see it bends a little bit like a banana from end to end. So I mentioned that nuance where the case has elements you don't notice at first pass, at first glance. Well, there is a little bit of an arch, an upward arch to the actual hood of the case that's echoed in both the shape of the sapphire and the shape of the bezel. Now, the bezel rings a dial that features traditional Cartier blued broadsword hands and radially arrayed printed Roman numerals. We have a sort of sunburst silver that has a little bit of a champagne undertone. You can see the Cartier secret signature down there at 7 o'clock. It's a two-hand watch, very traditional, but to be sure, it is also a mechanical watch. On the reverse side, underneath this shipping sticker, you could see the signature of Alberto Santos-Dumont. His last name is hyphenated. He liked to use this double hyphen, the stacked hyphen, to write his initials. That was how he often signed his name. Now, mécanique, what does that mean? Well, protected to 30 meters inside this 30-meter water-resistant case, we have a Piaget caliber 430P doing business somewhat disingenuously as the manufacturer Cartier 430. Don't be fooled. I'm actually glad to see the Piaget movement here because Piaget is high horology and this movement has a pedigree. It's only 2.1 millimeters thick, allowing this watch to be as slim as it is. It's a manual wind with a 38 to 43 hour power reserve. It beats away at 6 beats per second, pivots on 18 jewels, and it is handsomely decorated with, among other things, real fire-blued screws, making this a worthy combination of Cartier history and tradition with Piaget haute horlogerie watchmaking on the inside. Remember, Cartier and Piaget, both part of the Richemont group, they share between themselves. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.